So let's begin the session, right?
Yes, absolutely.
I think more and more participants are also coming in, but Viti is here, Ibrahim is here, Sanjeev is also joining. Many people are in the lobby also. Yes. Okay. Welcome, Kavitha. Hello, everyone. We have Kavitha, a blockchain expert with more than 15 years of experience in blockchain, and she's working in decentralized finance and each and everything related to blockchain, whether it's in the crypto, whether it's into the making the products related to the blockchain. Blockchain is not only related to the crypto, not only related to the printing, and that is what we are going to discuss in this whole session. In this session, we will be discussing about the use cases of blockchain. Blockchain is very huge and it's going to be the future. And in the future, in each and every case, in each and every sector, blockchain will be using. So, welcome, Kavitha. Please tell us about something about the blockchain, a little introduction about the blockchain, about the participants. More and more participants will also be joining in. So, can you give us a brief introduction about yourself, your journey, and then we can begin on it.
Great. Thank you for having me first, Sandeep. And it's always been an honor. And this is my second workshop with you. And I think it's been great progress. And to give you a little brief about myself, I'm an engineer from Washington University in St. Louis. That's Missouri, USA. And since then, my journey has been pretty extensive, both in the technology field, some food industry, sports, and back to blockchain technologies. I have a total of about 25 years of experience, and definitely I'm that old. Graduated, and I think it earned my my gray hair, so to speak. And it's been an interesting entry and journey in blockchains. Like you said, blockchain is not just about cryptocurrency. It is actually a technology. Cryptocurrency is actually the actual byproduct that enables transactions on a blockchain. So we'll talk a little bit about the evolution, the initiation, the genesis, and all of that of blockchains, and what blockchains are doing for both entrepreneurs who are building different technologies, innovating heavily, and also people who are enabling those technologies by getting into careers in blockchain, and the people who are funding it and all of that, right? So there's a whole ecosystem that enables blockchains. And let's begin with Genesis. So I will now share my, hold on, I'm sorry, I may have to log back in. Hold on, let me see if it will allow me to do this without having to log back in.
Yeah, I think the sharing has been accessed. Participants can share.
Acha. Hold on, let me just. Okay, it's for some reason it's.
Yes. Can you try it again?
It says quit and reopen. I need to quit and get back on the calls. Please bear with me. Thank you.
Hello everyone. In the meantime, Kavitha is joining. She will be presenting the use cases of blockchain. Well, everyone is talking about AI these days in 2023. As soon as the ChatGPT came, we all are talking about AI, and you might be seeing the post in the Twitter, in the LinkedIn, everywhere. They are talking about AI and AI. But blockchain is also very much important, and it is the future. Although it's very much less talked in the mainstream media, but yes, the trend will come again very soon. Yes, Kavitha.
Yes, hi. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, very much.
Okay, all right. I will begin the presentation. So as we've been saying, blockchain industry is not just about cryptocurrency, and it is so much more. It's in depth if you get into it. The technologies are vast in that as well, right? Cryptography is why it is called cryptocurrency, which earned its bad name. It enables the systems in blockchain, and let's get to that. So why did we actually come into blockchain industry is when people realized that, the decentralized systems are required, very much required, when the gap in financial systems, the global financial systems were found, in the centralized systems, the genesis of blockchains happened to enable, self-sovereign, user-sovereign, identity systems, autonomous systems, voting systems, and which can be, used to build intelligent, and highly reliable protocols, and, build infrastructure that, people can build on with ease, with a lot of, adoption and all of that, right? This is where the blockchain, the initial Bitcoin white paper was written to enable these things. And it just, lay dormant for quite some time, pretty much until, I would say, till 2012, which is when people suddenly realized there is a system here which is not been adopted, and let's see what it is. And but then people thought it was just about, cryptocurrency, and it is not about just Bitcoin. Every time I talk to somebody, I start talking about what are you working on? I'm working on a, decentralized system. I'm working in Web3 space, and I'm working on a blockchain product. Oh, yeah, I know a little about Bitcoin, right? So that's the first, response I receive, unless they are deep into the blockchain space. So what I say is education. You need to be educated in the systems. Just the same way we didn't know what Google was, what IBM was doing, and what WordPress was, and what Word is, and all of that. Education is the most powerful weapon which one can use to change the world. If you don't know what blockchain system is, you're going to be stuck at saying, yes, I know a little about Bitcoin. And then the speaker is going to move on because they realize that you hardly know anything about systems, right? So that's what we want to change. And what's the idea? We all have thoughts about, what we want to do and where we want to go. So, you allow those thoughts to be formed into an idea, to take shape, right, into certain things that we want to do and lead us down the path of action, learning, and a career of life's greatness that we seek. Action. How do we exactly achieve the things that we want to do? Whether it is you want to learn about blockchain, you want a career in blockchain, or do you want to just simply trade in crypto systems, or do you want to build protocols? Where is it that's going to take us? The first thing for us to do is understanding the idea is key to action. Why, what, and how? What are the technology advancements in the blockchain industry? Where have we come from 2008 till 2003? How long have each of you, been in blockchain and have followed the growth? There is a question you want to ask is, where is it that you took off? Every time, if you have taken off in 2008, you have come quite far. You've understood the genesis, the foundation, the growth, and all of that. But if you have entered somewhere in 2009, 2010, 2012, any of these, stages that blockchain has changed from, blockchain one, we talk about Web3, but we don't really talk about the stages of blockchain. The blockchain one was cryptocurrency, basically. When when Bitcoin was understood and people started buying Bitcoin, right? And nothing else was happening. When Ethereum came into play, smart contracts started to happen, which is blockchain 2.0, right? When the DApp started, were being built, then we have the blockchain 3.0. Today, when 2023, we're in blockchain 4.0, which is the stage of Web3, Web 1 to Web 2 to Web 3, and the multiverses that are happening. Metaverse is just one, and there's so many other verses out there, right? Which is what we call multiverses. And which stage you have entered, into this industry, whether you have been in blockchain 1, 2, 3, 4, I would suggest go back and understand what blockchain 1.0 was, what blockchain 2.0 was. If you really want to be in the industry, whether you want to be an entrepreneur, whether you want looking for a career in terms of just working, learning industries, and you want to just invest, or you want to be somebody who's going to support this entire ecosystem by being a mentor, or by being an industry adopter or something like that. And understanding the trends, what is your appetite for growth and pivot in relation to your skill, learning, and experience? Let's say you have been a Web2 developer or you've been a Web2 innovator, or you've been a Web2 entrepreneur who is invested in in developing something, right? What is your appetite to take these on? How long do you want to go? Where do you want to go in these industry? Where do you want to enter this particular industry, right? What is your appetite in terms of how far do you want to grow, and how much do you want to pivot? Do you want to merge Web 2 with Web 3? Do you want to enter Web 3 and take that to the next level? Or you want to look at simply adopting Web 3 technologies and stay in Web 2, right? What is it that you want to do? So you really want to sit back and understand. If you have been in Web3 space and you have been learning these, whether it's back and front end, the blockchain technologies, or what supports all these, the cloud spaces and all of that, and if you have been here, you still want to take a step back and really understand where do you want to go. Chart a growth, a growth system for yourself. Do a chart for yourself, like I'm here and where do I want to go? Follow trends with a short-term or long-term perspective, right? So whenever something is hot today, I will introduce some other technologies that we are talking about that make up the blockchain industry, right? I would say, what is your perspective? Do you want to go with the trend short term? You'll want to learn a master one skill and earn a great amount of money in that industry and innovate in that industry in that particular space? Or do you want to look at the long-term perspective? While you're mastering one, you keep reading and learning other things as well, so you have a broader perspective of what blockchain industry is and where you want to go with it. So what exactly do you want to do? So you want to really understand these things about yourself before you jump into the newer technologies, right? That's where I come from when I'm suggesting, what do you want to do? So which industries, can blockchain be, used, right? Where can it be used? There is no limit to where it can be used. Whether it is services, I've highlighted one for you to see that. It is services, healthcare, insurance, energy, real estate, sports, entertainment, government, e-commerce, banking, supply chain, finance, education. Did I miss something? Please, our audience, suggest your ideas about what else we can include, in this particular services industry or anywhere that you feel that blockchain can be used that I've missed, right? When I sit down and think about, these things come to my mind. And thanks to our designer who's put together this beautiful asset that I can share with you today. I think she's part of our audience also. And it's endless. It's, blockchain, what we are building at Soulverse is the base layer. We'll talk about that, right? And this can be adapted and adopted by every industry, everybody, the 8 billion people out there, can use blockchain industries, technologies, services and all of that. And why only, talk about technologies and that we can talk about services that we can provide. Adapting a new technology to new technologies could be a daunting task enough, right? But choosing which industry that you want to be in. Let's say, back-end technologies, front-end technologies, or something in between. You're a great coder or whatever. So you want to, I've showed you this whole gamut of, industries that you can be in. What do you want to choose? Do I take my, expertise and go to Web3 financial, systems or Web3 service industry systems? What do you want to do, right? If you have great expertise building financial systems in Web2, I would say stick to financial systems in Web3, right? And then, you enhance your skills and understand how blockchain works. And you bring your understanding of financial systems to blockchain industry. Learn the languages that Web3 uses and all of that. And then bring your skills to and adapt to a Web3, financial systems, and go work in a bank or something like that, a financial industry that, or something. Match your skills with Web3 technologies and learn those technologies, and it makes it easier for you to scope out what's there, and the scope for your success also broadens. right? Instead of, trying to, let's say real estate is booming in Web3, right? And then you go into Web3 and you understand you don't know how to design a real estate system. That's going to set you back, even if you understand the Web3 technologies, right? So be smart, armor yourself with those skills and choose wisely when you are looking at, when you're looking at taking the leap. So looking at growth and understand, what if, I'm going to become stagnant? What if, I learn, let's say Node.js or something like that, and then my growth is going to kind of, become stagnant. I'm only going to earn like $50,000 a year for the next 10 years. What's going to happen? If you look at the market size, and the value in 2023 today, it's 17.46 billion. Just in about 7 years, you're looking at that becoming $1,431.54 billion worth. So that growth is immense. And this has been estimated in 2022. That's 87.87% from 2023 to 2030. So you can look at your salaries also burgeoning. And if not at that percent, at least 20%, 30% in the 7 years. And that's huge if you look at it, right? And if you're playing smart, you're bringing your Web2 skills to Web3, you're looking at much, growth success rates. What's your move today? What should your move, should be your move, right? I'm going to pause at this slide and I'm going to, ask the audience, how you see yourself in Web3 industries today. You can tell me a little bit about your, technology references, that you have been in Web3, how you learned, how you are growing today and how you're innovating. If there's anything that you want to ask or you want to participate at this moment, we'll give it a short break or we'll continue. What do you say, Sandeep?
Yes, definitely. And Kavitha, one thing I saw in your profile, the one blockchain developer I think you are having, it was shown in your LinkedIn profile. Many people, they are learning these technologies, the MongoDB, Express, React, Node. They are searching for the jobs in Web 2.2. I think many of these applicants who are in the career fusion, many of the people who have joined the session also, they all are doing good into this Web 2.2. Everyone is looking for Node.js developer, React developer. So, but how can that transition be into the Web 3? I mean, whether they are exposed or not. I don't think that they are very much exposed that what they can do. I mean, what more they can do. I mean, what after Node.js? What after React.js? Right. So,
Right.
Yes, if anyone has any question related to that, that if you have learned any technology, maybe as a front-end developer, as a back-end developer, as a full stack, if you have learned that technology and want to know that, I have done this and I want to go into the blockchain thing or I want to go into the Web3 or the mix of the Web2 and Web3, what you can ask anything about that thing to the Kavitha. Anything. In the chat box, you can ask or you can just open up your views and ask the Kavitha. If you're also into the startups or in entrepreneurship, definitely, then that's the option that you must ask about.
Absolutely. Entrepreneurship is something that it's a dream for all of us, right? From the idea, to expertise is what I call it. The journey in between is entrepreneurship. Everybody has an idea, right? To becoming an expert in that is the journey of entrepreneurship. All of us have ideas, and all of us every day we have tons of ideas. Even the entrepreneur who's actually pursuing that particular idea has 100 other ideas popping into their heads in every single day. But taking that idea and becoming an expert in it and making it a success and making it worth somebody else's time and somebody else's energy, and which is basically your entire teams and whoever is funding it, coming to that point is entrepreneurship. What it takes is intense, desire to, continuously learn, to continuously grow, and to continuously innovate. It is so easy today. If I want the product that we are, and I'll speak from my product perspective at this moment, right? If I wanted to actually put my product into the market, I could have done this a year ago, exactly a year ago. But what we wanted to do was we wanted to innovate as we were learning and as we were designing, as we were drawing out these architecture plans and all that. ideas kept popping into our head, but we silenced those, saying that we want to innovate, we want to create, right? We wanted to build a very lightweight platform that people can easily plug in, right? And build on it intelligently. And that is going to be extremely secure and extremely, tempting for a developer to come and say, this is a beautiful, uncomplicated, a lightweight platform that I can build on, right? So you need to kind of take a step back from your own rush to be a success, right? Take a step back, look at it from afar, look at it, your whiteboard from afar, and see where the holes are. There are right now protocols that I can simply take and plug them into those holes and create a chain for my solution. I mean, not the blockchain, what I mean, the design for my solution. So we have a certain areas where we are innovating, right? So it's so easy for me to say, I'm going to be the owner of 1 billion Solex coins, and then I'm going to launch it. I'm going to be a billionaire. That rush needs to pull you back. The moment you feel that rush, ask yourself, absolutely ask yourself, what are you doing this for? Your end goal is something else. Your vision, Soulverse's vision is that we provide an SSID, which we call the soul ID, to every human being on this planet, right? And make it reachable for every light bulb, for every fan, for every adaptable thing that can have an ID, and make it a blockchain of things, right? So we could have launched our coin token, so to speak, a year ago as well. We pulled back from that, saying that is not, the currency is an enabler for the ecosystem, which is Soulverse. Soul ID is the product. So we don't want to launch, what is, put the horse in front of the cart. We want to build a cart with wheels that keep turning, right?
Yes.
The spokes that are innovative, like the way the cycles went from having iron, spokes to today fiber, a carbon fiber spokes, right? Mm-hmm. So that is what we want to innovate. That is why you will see Soul ID maybe by the end of the year. So you take a step back. As an entrepreneur, you are so eager and so wanting to take this to the next step and be called a success and be called to workshops like this, to give your expertise. Take a step back is what I say. Learn, and learn. And that's where you grow. And that's how you innovate. What's your move? Hey guys, I just want to have a sip of water. And that's exactly how, I would, whether it is an entrepreneur, whether it is somebody looking for a career, whether it is somebody who's looking to fund, right? Excuse me. Even they need to actually study this industry before putting in their funds. As a retail investor, as an institutional investor, as somebody who is, going out there and teaching this as, as a tutor, right? They need to understand, they need to learn, grow, and innovate. That is where you really become somebody or something in this particular industry. We are where Gmail or everything was when Hotmail started to build the code, right? When website was not even enabled, when TCP/IP protocol enabled us to talk to each system, to talk to each other, when the network was being built. That's where we are today. Yes. In the blockchain industry. We're still building those protocols. We're still building those technologies. Node.js and Java and all these things are just the very basics. There's so much more to come. I would suggest learn these basics, learn all of them. Don't think that just by becoming a Node.js expert, just to answer your question because you put it out there, and don't think that you know everything. Don't just limit yourself to it. Learn the front end, the back end, somewhere in between the blockchain technologies. Learn. Go learn how to write a smart contract. Go learn out there how to audit a smart contract. Right? Learn Solidity to write those smart contracts. Go out there and understand how AWS functions with these things in Web3 space. What Polygon does against what Ethereum does. Create all those things for yourself. Create a bank of knowledge for yourself. And if I'm today able to speak freely like this without a prompter in front of me, it's because I've been learning. It's because I've been teaching my team. Every day we talk, every day we innovate. They teach me, I teach them. We grow together and we innovate together. And that is something, including design, including an asset that I've put here today. My designer, is absolutely teaches me a lot. She's like, this is crap. It doesn't work. Let me do it for you, right? I draw it on a whiteboard and send it to her. And she's like, hey, no, I'm going to do it for you. And she teaches me how to do it, right? That is how you grow. And so if I limit myself to blockchain technologies, I'm not going to be the CEO that I need to be to actually put out a product. I need to understand how the market works, how a retail investor works, how an industry investor works. All of that makes me the CEO and the founder that I want to be eventually, that a teacher I want to be eventually. Thank you for being patient with me. Let's go to the next slide.
One thing I want to ask Kavitha, there are two things I think. One thing is the onboarding challenge. Whenever any blockchain platform is there, anyone if they want to start development or if they want to do anything, there is a challenge that how to start that particular play. And the second thing is the motivation. The mainstream media, they created the hype about the blockchain. Everyone thought that blockchain is just related to the crypto. And everyone invested in the company. There was a lot of investment in 2021 and 2022 in the blockchain companies.
Yes.
And suddenly the hype got over. And now still, I have a lot of friends who trade in the coins, who trade in the exchanges. But yes, they are not interested in developing any blockchain smart contracts. They are not even interested in shifting towards the Web 3.0 or even knowing about the Web 3.0. There are very less people. If I post any particular post on LinkedIn or in Twitter, I mean, for getting a large audience base, we have only two platforms that work very well: the Twitter and the LinkedIn. And if I post anything related to maybe into this Web 2.0 technologies, like become a full stack developer or something.
Right.
So become a full stack developer and become a blockchain developer. There is a huge difference, right?
Yes.
So a blockchain developer will get very less attention, but full stack developer still they are getting a lot of attention. So they are not finding the motivation exactly. And like you said that in your slide, it's written that it will generate 40 million jobs. But maybe they're not seeing the future, or they have a false perception that the mainstream media has created, and no one is talking real about that. So
well, let's look at it. Let's look at it pragmatically, right? If you look at Silicon Valley way back in 1990s and 2000, early 2000s, everybody dreamt of a corner office. IPOs were the thing of the day, and anybody said I'm a startup and I'm going to be in California, people rushed to give them money, right? They didn't think about what product they were going to put out. Nobody read their white papers. Nobody looked at what who the team is. They only looked at the glossy. They got an office. They have 20 desks with computers and money poured in, right? And what the CEO was doing, what the CTO was doing, what the CEO was doing, and what the developers were doing, nobody was looking at it. Money kept pouring in, right? And when the bubble happened, when this whole Silicon Valley bubble and the technology bubble happened, the companies that stood the test of this, this crash and all of that, are the ones who were developing the deep technologies, right? Who were actually developing those protocols that you require. We're actually developing the languages that you require. We're developing the, the windows of the world that you require. Let's say it's Chrome or, the Safaris or whatever it is, right? The initial Internet Explorer and all of those things, right? Who were writing this software, were writing these languages, who were developing these codes. Those are the people who actually survived all of these things, because you cannot have, an internet. You cannot have technology without the basis, without the foundation. Today, pretty much the same thing happened. Without people understanding what product the meme coins would actually develop, what, a coin that is being launched would develop, it is pretty much similar to shares, right? If you look at a cryptocurrency, it is pretty much like you're buying initial shares in a company. Not very similar, but you have to put it that way, right? So that is what you can buy in a company, a Web3 company. And so money poured in. And as the media started charging, as people, the meme coins started, pulling the rugs and all of that happening, and they started trashing. Once people started trashing those, instead of holding on to coins that are also valuable, people started selling. So the entire system has crashed. So the entire system has a bad rap today, right? So you need to look at what actually will stand the test of time again in this stage of. So that was Web 2 story. We're repeating the same in the Web 3 story. So you need to look at what is going to happen to the Web 3 as well. People who are developing, pouring, their hearts and souls into developing the layers of, of the foundation, are going to stand the test of this cryptocurrency. They don't care how, where Bitcoin is going to crash to, whether it's going to crash to 11,000, 12,000, 15,000. It doesn't really matter to those who are focusing on the foundation, right? They're building those protocols that enables computers to talk to each other. They're building those windows that enable us to talk to each other. They're building those, the codes that enable websites to be built and all of that, right? So those are the people who are going to stand the test of time. So people who are now selling those coins need to look at, go do the research, learn. As an investor, learn, right? Grow from there. Put money into, that has a solid blockchain. Put money that has, a solid product behind it. So I'll give you a few, examples. Identity, which I'm part of, I'm not partial to it, is going to be a $70.7 billion industry by 2025. That is 2 years from now. It's hardly a $17 billion industry today. Imagine the growth in 2 years. Go put money into those industries. Go put money into retail industries that are adopting blockchains. Go put money into protocols that are being built. There are a lot of companies out there that are building privacy protocols, security protocols in the Web3 industry. Find those. It's very easy to search them, right? Learn about them. Read their white papers. Don't look at somebody's building a swap and it's going to make a lot of money. It's a meme coin with 15 zeros. It's going to lose 5 zeros. I'm going to become billionaire. Those are exceptions. Those are not the norms, right? So don't look at the exceptions. Look at the norms that you want to look at, right? Blockchain will generate 40 million jobs, but they are going to be in the development industry. They're not going to be in the meme coin industry, right? So you need to look at learning the main technologies that will enable you to secure one of these 40 million jobs globally, right? You can be anywhere in the world, and work from home is normal today. My team of 16 people are across the country and across the globe today. So we are hardly in the same space, right? So the national salary average for blockchain developers is $175,000 compared to the $77,000 for a Web 2 full stack developer, right? So where do you want to be? It's more than twice.
Yeah, more than twice. I mean,
more than twice. It's almost like 125%.
Yes.
Right? More than what these guys are earning. So where do you want to be? We'll come to the technologies as well, right? What's on offer? This is what is on offer, right? This is what you want to look at. So career focus areas. So you asked me that. What is next, right? So, there are engineering areas, which is like building the blockchains and all of that and everything. The operations areas in Web3 technologies. And there are marketing areas. If you're a great marketer, if you're a great influencer, if you're a great content writer, if you're doing all those things, you're a great brand designer, you have jobs in Web3 as well. And you are a great designer both in the asset space and both in the blockchain, in the tech space. You have jobs. You have sales jobs. You have customer support jobs and other jobs. What are the other jobs here, right? The other jobs are basically in bringing your expertise to develop the use cases. What I talked about in the beginning. If you're working in, let's say, retail, and you're a great retail industry person, you understand the logistics chains and you understand all these things, you understand stocking, you understand some of these things, you can bring those to build the use cases for a Web3 technology company, including mine. You're more than welcome to apply to our company today, right? We need those. Absolutely. So choose from your expertise where you want to be, and bring that to your to your career focus. And here is what we want to talk about. This is one of the questions you asked me. What is the technology focus areas? Right? Look at the blockchain languages choices that you have. Look at the backend languages. If you have been expert in one of these in Web 2, you have been in the backend, you've been in the front end, you're just UI UX developer, you're just a UX developer, you are a UI developer, or you develop somewhere in between, you know how to join these two things, you're a cloud platform person, or you know exactly how to build the libraries and all of that, or you build the protocols, you're a cryptographer, you're a mathematician, you're an encryption, expert, any of these things. Those are all comes under other things, right? Here is your choice. You become an expert in one of these things, and you absolutely know how everything else performs. You learn. Get a lot of books. Buy your books. Keep reading. Or you download the PDFs from research papers. Keep reading them. Here's your choice, right? And, as JavaScript is something that Web2 developers already know, you can bring that to Web3. So when you bring that to Web3, take that and start learning the other things. You learn React, you learn Angular, you do all these things. You understand how AWS supports Web3 systems, all of that. So this is where, you don't take one particular topic or something like that. And when you go to an interview, an interviewer is not only going to ask you about JavaScript, or if you're a backend developer, they're not just going to ask you about Python. They're going to ask you how, because you need to talk to your other developers to build the systems that you need. So you need to understand what they're developing as well. And both these pieces need to be joined together. So you need to kind of have an idea of what the other person is doing in your team as well, right? So make sure you learn all these things. Why the technology? Why blockchain technology? What is it doing for us? What is the hype? Why is everybody going gung-ho about it? Blockchain here, blockchain there, blockchain everywhere, right? So why is it? Blockchain increases trust, which we don't have today. Today, if I, supply my driver's license, people are not happy about it. People want an Aadhaar card. People want a social security number if I'm American. People want this and people want that. They don't trust me because I could have easily switched. I could easily swapped the picture from a similar, aged person. And I can pass off for that person, right? So that can be done. And there is transparency because these systems and these transactions are written on blockchain that can be read by somebody. They can either be masked or unmasked. That is the protocols I'm talking about. There's transparency, but with your permission, right? You can give permission for somebody to see that transaction that is on blockchain. It is transparent once you allow it. It can happen like that. And traceability of data. Once the block is done, absolutely it's traceable. And you know where the genesis of the data is, right? And traceability of the shared data across a business network. If I'm, in the health network and I go to an insurance, a claim across the networks, the insurance claim, the claim giver can actually go to and see that I've actually had this procedure, right? So there is transparency between networks today, which is not there in a centralized system. I could have actually easily hacked the system and put my information in it, right? So there's no traceability of data. Delivers cost savings with new efficiencies, which we are building with technologies. Blockchain for business uses a shared and immutable ledger that can only be accessed by members with permission, right? I can give permission for somebody to see my data, or I say, hell no. Today, my data is being used by N number of data, by all the social media people, right? And I can actually be in control of that. The technology is still in its early stages of development, which is where you can actually jump in today. And there's a lot of room and a lot of growth for innovation, new technologies, new protocols, and new ideas. Blockchain was an idea. Who knew? So there's still room for new ideas, how the core blockchain technology can be taken and built on, right? So there's a lot of biometrics being infused into the system. There's a lot of security and privacy protocols being infused into the system. There's a lot of growth there. Mathematicians and cryptographers, if you're hearing me out there, there's a lot of scope for you guys, whether it's in research or building protocols. There's a lot of growth for you guys out there. Why the career? What's in it for you in it? Are you going to be, is it going to be an unstable career for you? Is it going to help you grow? Is it going to be something that, you're going to be so proud of being part of? Technology is still in its early stages of development. So there's a lot of scope for you to learn and grow, for you to be the expert tomorrow within a few years. There is a significant potential for growth and advancement. So you could actually quickly become a leader, right? Which may not be happening in Web2 because there are so many people who know the same thing. Blockchain offers a unique opportunity to work with cutting-edge technology and solve complex problems, which is one of the things we are doing today. Across numerous industries, its high demand is evident in its high salary, right? So what's in it for you? This is here, I've put in a few points here, but there's a lot more. ChatGPT will tell you better than Google can tell you today. So, so go out there and ask AI. It'll tell you a few more things.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly, right? So we're talking about the technologies and we have advanced from asking Google to asking ChatGPT. By the way, I call my ChatGPT Layla, and it has gotten not tuned to it. I say, hey, Layla. It says, how can I help you today?
Well, I have been using ChatGPT from the day I got the nugget to know about, I think, November or December. And
yes.
My Google search has been reduced now. I only read articles based on the Google, but I don't search generally. Whatever I have to search, brainstorming is quite good. I use ChatGPT a lot for the brainstorming, to create the events, to create all the things.
Yes.
Many decisions which I can take, I can get 5 alternatives of my decisions. Like, what should I do?
Absolutely.
One decision.
You must use the technologies, they really make your life easy. Thankfully, my life was made easy when I was making this presentation by my designer who gave me the background, by my team who's given me some of the, data I have shown you, some of the pointers that I needed to kind of share. And it is run, I ran it by my team before I'm sharing it with you guys today. So, and Layla has helped me as well. Initially, when I said, can I call you Layla? It said, no, I'm an AI system. I don't understand who Layla is. But then as I kept calling her Layla every morning, it understood, now I'm addressing her, him, whoever it is in the background, right? So from idea to expertise, that's what I call it, right? So, although, intellect always longs for clarity and uncertainty, our nature often finds uncertainty fascinating. This is not what I'm saying. It's been said by Carl von Clausewitz, right? And that is exactly what an entrepreneur is looking for. That is exactly what a career growth planner is looking for, right? Because you don't know if you leave the comfort of being a developer today and want to become a project manager or project leader or something. You apply for that project leader post. What if I don't get it? What if somebody else gets it? Then where does it put me? The new guy who's going to come as a project leader, is he going to look at me or is she going to look at me as as their competition? What's going to happen to me, right? We have all those ideas in our heads. But then uncertainty brings fascinating possibilities. We have to look at that. We have to take the chance, right? That's how I look at it as an entrepreneur. In no uncertain terms, this is me saying, through my experience as an entrepreneur, technologist, innovator, and supporter of advancements that create inclusive, secure, and interoperable systems, I urge you to seek additional information to begin your journey in the new realm of technology. Just because you went through a workshop today, which said, go jump in there and, go seek the jobs in blockchain industry, become an entrepreneur, enterprise, do all of that stuff. Please don't do that. Go there, seek a lot of knowledge, learn, grow, innovate. Make it your mantra. The future of technologies is very, very bright as we are seeing it today. Let's not, trash it because cryptocurrency has a bad rap. Let's look at blockchain industry as a whole. We've looked at its use cases. We have looked at it, the careers in it. We've looked at the opportunities for an entrepreneur. And so should be your career path, right? Absolutely, right? That's how we want to look at it. So I'm going to talk a little about Soulverse, what we're doing. So if people want to ask me questions.
I'm also very much eager to know about what Soulverse does in a whole.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, I'm also very much eager to know that what Soulverse is building. That you also mentioned a lot of times that you are building a foundation for the future people who want to develop something related to
Yes.
blockchain in a very hassle-free experience. So yeah, tell me
Yes.
something like what Soulverse is doing in that.
Okay, that's our website. You can actually find a little bit more once we are done here. Our vision is to provide a secure, decentralized digital identity to everybody on this planet by leveraging the new technologies, by leveraging the blockchain technologies, right? That's the vision, that we are working with. And this vision has evolved as we, from the first day to, with the co-founders. This has evolved from thinking about an identity on blockchain to exactly what we want to do as a company. That's what Soulverse wants to do. And Soulverse is an ecosystem. It comes with Soul ID, the product, the identity product, Soul Coin, which is SoulX, which has already been minted. It's on the Polygon chain, and which actually enables the transactions in the Soulverse system. So if you want to use Soul ID and transact using the digital wallet, the digital agent, you will require SoulX. And the Sologram, which is basically an amalgamation, and it's like a hologram kind of a thing. It's a manifestation of all your credentials in your digital agent. That's what Sologram is, right? That's what a Soulverse is. So what we're building is what is called a self-sovereign identity, an identity on the blockchain. So
I think
yeah, it is actually, let's say you are using a wallet right now to buy cryptocurrencies, right? You have a public address that you tell people to send, when you buy, it comes to your public address, the centralized exchange or the decentralized exchange, you need to give your public address for the currency to come into your wallet, right? But there is no identity of yours in that digital agent, which is the wallet, right? So what we are building is that generating a public and a private key, where the public key acts as your decentralized identity, which is called the DID in the blockchain industry, which becomes your kind of like your name agent, right? Like right now today in the ENS systems, you can actually go there and today I have, if you go to my LinkedIn, you'll see Kavitha Kanaparthi.x.
Yes.
Right? So what is that? That's actually a naming system. Just like you have a domain. Tomorrow, instead of giving my public address as a string of words and names, I can just say my public address is kavithakanaparthi.x. Right? So, and everybody can transact using that. I can transact using that. So that is the kind of a thing that we are building today, and as a self-sovereign identity, so that you're not having to require to remember your private key as a 12-word mnemonic, passwords or something like that. So you regenerate your private keys, and that is an IP that we are bringing to the table, the innovation that we're bringing to the table. Using that, you can get any credentials into your wallet. So you can anchor yourself in that wallet. You can get your driver's license, you can get your passport, you can end-to-end have all your credentials. Let's say as a student ID can be your Soul ID. From the time you enter an education system, all your activities, all your financial payments and everything are recorded on the blockchain. And your final degree certificate comes to you as a verified credentials. So when you apply to an employer, you just give them your Soul ID. That's all you do. And they can verify you end to end in terms of, they had done this debate when they have written this paper when they were in college. They've innovated during this college, or they supported this NGO when they were in college. So they can see all of that, a wholesome you, when you apply to, and it becomes a 5-minute transactional situation, not something that you apply. You supply your references, you supply your, certificates and all of that. It takes about a week for them to verify you. It takes a split second for them to verify you on the blockchain. And that is something you bring. Retail industry can use Soul IDs to for the shipments end to end in the logistics systems by tagging their products with the ID. So they see everything on the blockchain end to end, if it's been shipped from this place, where the raw material has been procured from, and end to end, everything goes in the blockchain. So they can meet regulations, they can do all of those things. That is the entire industry scope that I've shown you, where all our product can be used, and what all we are building as built, right? So what we're building is the gateway to Web3. Let's say you want to build a Web3 game, right? So how do people enter your Web3 game today? They come in using a public address.
Yes.
But how do they take their assets that they earn in that Web3 game and go to the next game? They do that by having a Soul ID. So once your digital assets you're attached to your, to you as a Soul ID, the Soul ID is interoperable between Web3 games. So they can build using the Soul ID as your identity framework for these Web3 games. And Metaverse requires, a bank requires. So tomorrow, your bank ID will simply be your Soul ID. And all your transactions and everything go through your digital wallet. So your bank transactions kind of become like a DeFi transactions and written on the blockchain, right? So that's what we're building. So, without giving away too much about, that's how much I would like to. People are welcome to reach out to me via LinkedIn if they want to know more. And if they want to work with us, more than welcome to reach out to me as well. Soul ID, Soulverse's SSID product, is innovating to create identity infrastructure that is lightweight, like I mentioned, adaptable, and can be built upon intelligently with much, much ease. Reach out to us if you think you have the skills and expertise in any of the areas that we have talked about today. Any of the areas, any of the blockchain technologies that you have, any of the use cases that we talked about, any of the industry use cases that you can bring to the table, we're open to hearing from you. And a big thank you to my team who have helped me bring some great info into this presentation today, including the designing part and everything. Without them, teamwork is what I call dream work, right? Happy to answer any of your questions, whatever you have to the best of my ability. And if you scan that QR code, you'll reach me on LinkedIn. So here you go, guys, an opportunity for you to ask me anything if you want. Ask me, and basically I'm throwing it open for an AMA. And I don't know how much time we have left, but I'm going to start sharing.
Time. We have enough time for a Q&A. For a quick Q&A, Abhilash is here, Pushkar is here, Sanjeet is here. Do you guys need to ask any questions about the blockchain use cases and the future of blockchain to Kavitha? If you have, ask anything in the chat box, or you can just open up your videos and ask it directly. In the meantime, Kavitha,
Sure.
you can think of all the questions. Whenever I do any webinar which have a Q&A sessions, I just generally think that they can't recall what they want to ask exactly. It's a tough thing. They are very much focused on what's being talked to, rather than recalling that thing. So they might ask after an hour or directly reach out to that thing. But yeah.
Sure.
So what's one more thing? Generally, how do you see the ecosystem of blockchain in India and in US? I mean, why India is very less talking about the blockchain? Various people are doing their effort, like you are also doing your effort to mentor the people in the blockchain. And this is our second workshop together, where we are again, expanding the knowledge of blockchain to the people who are very much interested or who we can generate the interest towards the blockchain. But why people here don't talk about this technology or their applications, or like the issues and challenges like decentralization or like data privacy? Like you said that companies own the data, not me who own the data, but companies own the data. But here, no one will be talking about that thing. I just saw one stall someday. A Swiggy is installed a stall, and they were giving a coupon code if you are giving them your phone numbers. They were
Wow.
taking out the phone numbers, giving them the OTPs, and based on that, they were giving the 100 rupees coupon code, which is not very much tough for Swiggy to give. But yes, the concept is that people are not here talking about data privacy. They are very much willingly to provide their data, and
Right.
so how that shift can be done? Because if they are not being motivated or not being faced about the challenges that they can be, I think they woke up when something bad happens at a larger
Yeah.
scale.
Yeah.
India. So why they do not prepare for the worst or work towards that particular thing, which is the blockchain? So what's your view on that?
See, it's again, it's like a dangling a carrot, right? So
Yeah.
what do all these companies do? They give you a 100 rupee coupon. If you go to a grocery store, they tell you, ma'am, can you give your phone number? If you do, you collect points and you can use them towards your next purchase, right? Or we'll send you, members only discounts and all of that. So what's happening here? You have given away your number, you have given away your purchase pattern, because they now exactly what you're buying month after month, month after month, month after month.
Yes.
They target you with those, with the data, with the advertisements and everything, right? So you have fallen for some basically reward, right? Pretty much everybody gives you that reward, whether it's Facebook or anybody like that. They give you that some rewards. They want to know. They say, hey, generate have you look 20 years from now, or and so you have given them away. You've given away your 20 years ago picture and this picture. They're able to match that and generate data and use it exactly how they want it, and you have fallen for a trick, right? So what exactly is Web3 going to do for them? What exactly is Web3 going to do for them, right?
That's good.
So exactly. So once now you have access to your data, and you need to give permission to big companies like Google, Facebook, and anybody to use your data. So you need to actually authorize a transaction for them to view your data on the blockchain, right? So when they ask you for that authorization, they'll have to pay you.
Yes.
So you can say no. So they have to pay you to actually use the transaction. So here they're saying they're going to give you a reward, and they understand your pattern, right? So those 100 rupees you're actually using, you have to use it in their own systems. So you don't have the freedom to take those points and use them somewhere else. Here you are, they have to pay you in your currency. So you can use it anywhere. So you're actually monetizing your own data in the way you want it, and you control who actually sees it, right? So that is one thing that Web3 is going to do. And why is India not talking about it? And that is a fallacy as well, by the way. The media actually is actually pushing back from talking about it. But what's happening on the ground is very different. Polygon actually is doing a lot of good things in India, and it is an India-based company.
Yeah.
And if you look at it, there's huge innovative conferences happening in India, Web3 conferences happening in India. Almost on a weekend, if you go to any major city, there is a get-together happening, right? And extensively, even there's what is called Bharat Web3 portal if you want to go to, right? Why is all of that there while the media is silent? India is waiting and seeing how much is being built, where it can go, and suddenly there's going to be a boom, and people are going to be left out of the system.
Yes.
Right? That is what is happening. That's unfortunate. But in the media in the US, there's constantly the articles are being written, everybody's reading them, and so they're going out there. They're going out there to build something. They're going out to have a career in it. They're going out to invest. They're doing all these things. But India, a huge population is going to be left out because the right focus is not being given to it, and that is definitely a disadvantage for India.
Yeah. So at your engineer, what we are trying to do here at your engineer, whatever the latest technologies are coming in, like blockchain is at early stage, Electric vehicles are at early stage, sustainability. So all the things that are very early stage in India, which is not being talked about, we have created a global engineering network. And
Right.
blockchain center is
Great one,
there,
I've seen.
and this is all the things that we are trying to make them understand that what are the things that how blockchain can be exposed to a large set of audience. Because the
Right.
meetups that we are discussing about, like in any Saturday or Sunday, if I'm going to a startup meetup, either the people who will be on the blockchain will be talking about fintechs, or
Right.
other than that, if they are on the blockchain, they are not talking about other use cases. That's why I wanted to do a session with you on other use cases. Because
Right.
many people, they are just making some lending apps. They are just making some, crypto transactions, exchanges, and something like that. Exchanges
Right.
in very short communities. Maybe
Right.
Surat, only one Surat, they will be running only in Surat. And
Right.
there are so much scams also. I mean, my Instagram is filled with various requests of, this scams related to Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all those things. So I
Right.
think this phishing is also something demotivating. And government
Right.
is, I don't know government how they are trying to react to, but these phishing scams are also making them demotivated to go into this blockchain thing. So
Right.
yeah, sometimes.
Phishing can, to a great extent, be reduced by biometric infusion into the Web3 world. Right now, since we are still using a 12-word, a private key system, phishing, people are easy to give that away. They'll either lose it or they either write it down somewhere. Somebody, they're taking screenshots of it, which are being read, remotely, by spyware and all of that. All this phishing happens by infusing, making it a biometric first systems, which is what, a lot of the Web3 systems are doing right now, making digital agents, Web3 first digital agents, biometric first, I'm sorry, digital agents. You can talk about, government can actually make this happen, talk about, reducing phishing through it, and, make people Web3 friendly. That is one thing that that is a topic on its own that you can talk about. And I'll be more than happy to talk about someday. And, making biometric first Web3 agents, digital agents is something that is a whole new topic on its own, and how it can actually stop a whole lot of problems in the Web2 world that we have today, but, taking on better, systems and security systems.
I think Sanjeev had asked some question. It's a very huge
Sure.
question. So can you answer that? Can you see the question in the chat?
I actually can't see because I'm sharing my screen. I'm going to stop
Okay.
sharing my screen now
Yeah.
so that I can see the chat. Give me, okay, lower hand. Okay, chat. Okay. In last year, many industries failed to sustain in blockchain, for example. No one right now talking about NFTs. 2021, they were boom of it. In such volatile situation, is it right to enter in the industry? How difficult it will be if I start a company in Web3, let alone say a social media website enabled by Web3. Like I was talking about Sanjeev, you want to look at the base technologies that you want to build, right? So if you want to build a social media website, enabled by Web3, you want to look at who your competitors are at this moment, right? Facebook wants to do metaverse, and they have a leg up in terms of, but though they have put a plug in it at the moment, they went the wrong way by building hardware first instead of building the base layers. So what you want to do is, understanding the base layers that make up the Web3 systems, right? So, you want to implement those. By doing those, you're not going to be looking at a long-term failure. You're going to be looking at a short-term gap in how you can fill those, technologies that you require while everybody else is still building them, right? So you can look at that, but you look at a long-term perspective, you're not going to fail if you want to look at a product, something like that. Why have NFTs gone crazy? What are NFTs, by the way, right? They're the non-fungible tokens. They're not, sorry, I don't want to take names. They're not the animals and all of these things that people have actually made them out to be. And the clubs that they're built around it. They're actually meant to be, to allow tokenization of assets, right? An asset like a pencil that I want to sell to a child. like, a computer that I want to sell. I can tokenize it as an NFT, right? And sell it on, through a blockchain transaction and ship it to somebody. And that NFT gets exchanged, right? That is the simplest idea of an NFT, right? So what happened? People started creating NFTs out of art, out of nothing, literally, out of madness. And that is that is pretty much like cryptocurrency bust, NFT bust, right? So you need to understand what blockchain industry is all about if you want to go there and innovate. I highly encourage you, if you have the entrepreneurship, mindset, go out there, learn a lot, what it takes to actually make a social media website successful in the Web3 industry. What is it you're building? What is it that you're giving the customer better than what Facebook gives in Web2? Why Web3? What is it that you're going to do? What are the base layers you're going to use, right? So understand those, and you will absolutely be successful.
I think the fundamentals need to be asked. The fundamentals need to be asked. I think the fundamentals need to be asked.
Yes, the fundamentals need to be asked, and I would highly encourage finding a good mentor.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of good people experienced, over 30 years, 15 years I don't mean in the blockchain industry. It's hard to find somebody with 30 industry, it's not been around. And quickly to talk about AI, has been around for longer than 30 years.
Yeah.
Much longer than 30 years, right? But why is it being talked about today? All these things lay dormant because people didn't really understand the use cases. Didn't really understand, there was a lot of fear that AI somehow was going to become this robo, all those movies that we had, is going to take over our human minds, right? The fear of not knowing what the technology can do. Put a pin in all of these things. Today, as we're understanding, as we're learning, we're like, great information, great use cases. Let's go and do it. So if you want to reach out, any people here, and if you want to reach out to me offline, I'm more than happy to help you with it.
Definitely, Kavitha. Okay, thank you very much for giving us a very insightful session on all those things. And whenever I connect with you, I learn a lot more than the previous things and whatever I'm learning about blockchain. And I'm really fan of the blockchain technology. I want to talk more about that and make people exposed to this new thing. Because when any new technology comes, people adopt, but they don't innovate in that. They don't put their ideas and try to expand it. We are early adopters. India is a very early adopter of each and every technologies. People are making the images of various actors or various politicians using Midjourney or any other AIs, but yeah, they are not trying to build something in that particular domain. So that's the problem. But yes, exposure should be there, motivation should be there. We are there to push that thing, and let's see what's going to be the future. But once again, very much thank you. I will be sharing your details to the people who are interested in blockchain, and let's talk again more in the future.
Thank you, Sandeep, and thank you, audience, for being patient and and being here. Thank you so much, Sandeep, and I will see you again.
Thank you, Kavitha. See you again.
Thank you for a bright future to everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.